Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Education and asks, how many of the reports or briefings that she has received on national standards refer to increases in teacher workload, and what is the best estimate of that increase in workload expressed in hours per term in 2010?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, I have received an extremely large amount of advice about national standards since November 2008. I'm advised that many of these...
Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Speaker, I don't think that my speaker's working. I can't hear the Minister.
I'd ask members to be... Order. Order. I'm not sure whether the honourable member realises a point of order is being considered and silence is required. And in case you overlook that fact, I'll overlook the breach on this occasion. But the Honourable Trevor Mallard's made a reasonable point. There was a lot of noise. I even found it difficult to hear the Minister. The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, I have received an extremely large amount of advice about national standards since November 2008. I'm advised that many of these reports have some reference to teacher workload, but it has not been possible to search every report to determine a specific number that refer to potential workloads. What I can tell the member is that the Ministry has provided me with consistent advice that teachers who are following best practice should not experience increased workload as a result of national standards. The national standards are about setting goals for students, using formative assessment and providing regular progress reports to parents in language they can understand. This is core business for all teachers and for all schools. It's not an optional extra.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard, point of order.
Mr Speaker, I have a reply to a written question dated the 15th of March, which indicated that the Minister had had 24 reports.
Order.
I'm going to ask you for a little bit of tolerance, Mr Speaker.
The member is actually now disputing the answer by way of a point of order, which he can't do. He's got further supplementary questions which he can use if he believes what the Minister has told the House may be incorrect or whatever. But to litigate it by way of point of order is not on. The Honourable Trevor Mallard, supplementary question.
In light of her answer, which I received on the 15th of March, which indicated that she had had 24 reports or briefings on national standards, was it too much work for her office to look through those in order to work out how many of them referred to teacher workload?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, I repeat, I have received an extremely large amount of advice on national standards since November 2008. The primary question does not refer simply to the Ministry's advice. It refers to reports or briefings that I have received. So I'm saying I've received an extremely large amount of advice. The Ministry has worked through as much of that as they possibly can in the time available since my office received the question at 10:45 a.m. this morning. In that time, they have identified just 2 reports which note that teachers may claim an increased workload, but I'm happy to table a full response to the question once all reports have been worked through. But until that time, I cannot give an accurate number, and I would not want to mislead the House.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard. The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
What was the estimate she used as to the increase in teacher workload when she made her decision to go ahead with national standards in their current form?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
The estimate we made was that teachers who were using good assessment information to inform their teaching and reporting well to parents will see little increase in their workload. Teachers who are not doing these things will have to start doing them. It's core business for teachers. But I have to say to the member that we have actually reduced some of teachers' workloads. For instance, they won't have to be handing out WhatsApp badges. They won't have to be acting as fruit monitors to deliver fruit in schools. And they won't have to be rounding up kids who've popped across the road to get a pie because we've rescinded the nanny state tuck shop regulations.
Alan Peachy. Alan Peachy.
To the Minister.
Alan Peachy.
To the Minister. What support is available to teachers to assist them to implement the national standards?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, the Government has committed $26 million this year to professional development and support. This includes the provision of information workshops, the self-review tools, school training visits, in-depth work with 7,000 to 8,000 teachers, support for the provisionally registered and overseas trained teachers, and the funding subsidy for teachers to access postgraduate qualifications in literacy and numeracy. The Ministry has also published extensive online and printed support materials for teachers, principals and boards of trustees.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Supplementary question. If there is no change for the majority of teachers, as she indicated in her answer to the penultimate supplementary, what difference will a majority of parents see as a result of her change to national standards?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, the majority of parents in New Zealand support the introduction of national standards because they know it will give them, for the first time, good information about their child's progress in plain language. And the fact that that member has to keep asking that question shows he's on that side and we're on this.
The member's question was very simple. What will parents see? And it doesn't deserve a political attack like the last bit. There was nothing political in the question. Does the member have a further question?
The
Honourable Trevor Mallard.
What change will parents see when they are in good schools who have been reporting well already?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
The change that those parents will see is the progress of their children against the national standards.
Question number 12, Dr. Russell Norman.
Thank you, Mr.
Order.